So the next movie in the Fast saga is Fast 5. I don't know how they got to Fast 5, considering what they had originally conceived this as. Now, of course, Vin Diesel came on with the idea to really expand these characters and to bring it all together, ending the movie with a cliffhanger into what the next one will be, with the idea that Fast 5 will bring all the character arcs together into one big final adventure. And that's what we really get here. Immediately after them flipping the whole bus over from the previous movie, they're able to escape and they hide out in Rio. Mainly Brian and Mia. They hide out with Vince. Vince, who's here, who has his own family here. And if you notice, he actually has the scars from the whole truck scene from the first one. I didn't notice that till rewatching this, but that's a sort of small little detail that I can respect. He asks Brian and Mia, who are hiding out, if they want to help him with a job that he's doing. Of course, it ends up going sour, and thanks to the fact that Dom happens to show up in the middle of the job, they're able to just barely escape, even though they end up smashing their weird car into the train, and they nearly get crushed. So, but with this car that they steal, they figure out that the drug lord that they were working with, Hernan Reyes, is needing it to have this weird chip thing that will stop anyone from knowing where all of his money is hidden. Unfortunately, due to it fucking up, some DEA agents get killed by Reyes' men, which that is unfortunately pinned by the current known as ex-cons, our main three. Because of this, they are now being chased by Rock the Dwayne Johnson. Luke Hobbs is this big fucking Samoan man who is the best DEA agent, and he will find you and he will kill you. He's also
wow! What the Rock!
Dwayne "The Rock" fucking Johnson. So I don't know what to say. Though they do try to escape, they decide to stay in Rio and hide out in there to actually get Reyes' money. Not only because Reyes totally fucked them, but also Mia turns out to be pregnant. But we also find out that Mia is pregnant, so that's enough reason to try and start a heist. With this heist, they get all of the previous characters. You got Roman, you got Tej, you got Han, you got Tego and Leo, and you got Gal Gadot. She's back from the previous one. It's this big group. They all have their own stuff to them. You know Roman, he's here for the talking. Tego and Leo are here to do their funny duo thing. Giselle is here because she's just kind of badass, which, by the way, Gal Gadot was previously in the military, so she just naturally is a real-world badass. She just can do that shit. Han's here because he's Han, and you might as well. And Tej is here because he's apparently a tech expert. As I mentioned, he's like a CIA-level hacker. He had a life beforehand. It's just like, excuse me? Were you an MIT graduate beforehand? What happened? Again, not ironically, want a Tej movie that tells me why he can do that shit. Please, I need to know. They stage a small little heist which scares off Reyes, and he brings all of his money into one place, which turns out to be the police station, because obviously, you know, he's a corrupt man, so he's in all the corrupt police pockets. But this allows them to make this small little plan to infiltrate the police station. They get this small little, like, camera bot, and they see the kind of big safe that it's in, and with Tego and Leo, they're able to sort of hack into the cameras and figure out how they can get there really quickly. So they do get a cool fast car to try and figure out if they can just go fast enough for the camera to not see them, which, as a person who's been behind security cameras, that's not a thing. They figure out that they can just get police cars, so sure. As they're trying to figure all this out, you get a lot of cool, funny scenes with all of our characters really growing to like each other. They really begin off not liking each other, but you really get to see them slowly grow to become an actual family as the movie goes on. And it's all really cool to see, you know? It's just a movie that makes you really happy to see these likable characters just interact with each other. I feel like the movie's biggest flaw is that we don't get more of them, but I guess that's what 6 and 7 are for. It's just more of these guys just hanging out because fuck it. Might as well. But we also get Hobbs slowly coming up on them, and he almost catches them. But thanks to this cool scene where Dom is just like, do it, fucker, they get scared off, and a little tracker is put on them. However, right as they're about to start their big heist, Dom is found by The Rock, and they do get in this really just bang-out brawl where Dom could have easily killed The Rock, but he decides to stop this. This kind of actually dazes Hobbs, and he's almost just like, what happened? As, of course, they're riding, they do get attacked by Reyes's men, and all of Hobbs's dudes are all just killed off, but they are saved by Dom and his friends. Now, all hiding out, Hobbs decides that he's going to help them take all the money because he wants full revenge from the fact that Reyes just killed all of his men. Because of this, he helps them just drive right into there and take the thing off its hinges, and we get the cool and the most memorable scene of the whole entire franchise, them just dragging this giant safe across most of Rio. Somehow not causing a lot of infrastructure problems there, but okay. They do cause a lot of property damage, and a lot of cars get smashed. And eventually they almost nearly get caught by Reyes himself, who's in a car driving with all the police, and they drive really right into him, having the thing smash all of the cars along the way, catch up with Hobbs, and Hobbs is just like, okay, that was cool. We beat the guy. He, by the way, just shoots Reyes as if it's nothing, and it's really funny. But he's just like, fine, you get a 24-hour head start, which of course is interesting, because that inconspicuous garbage vehicle that you saw during the chase, during the quick little window of time, turned out to have a separate vault, and they put the real vault into it. So the vault they left with Hobbs is their fake vault that they were testing on. I don't know how they got this vault, by the way. They have a scene of them opening this vault from a crate. I don't know where they got this vault, by the way. Because of this fake vault, they are able to get so much money, and because of this, they're able to go off on their own separate lives. We get Tigo and Leo just doing some funny shit in what I'm believed to be Las Vegas. Tej and Roman have this cool bromance that is a real good showing of why they need their own movie. I'm serious, give them a movie. And we do get Giselle and Han going off to do their own thing, and he mentions Tokyo, but he's like, we'll get there, and it's sort of cool. That, alongside the fact that Dom and Brian are like, let's go on one last race, it's this cute little conclusion that sure, Han will probably die in Tokyo Drift. It's this good ending that's just like, well, you know, at least leading up to that point, he lived a happy life with Giselle. And so did all the other guys. They were able to get off scot-free. They have better lives now. They're richer now. What else could happen? And this, if this was the conclusion, would have been a fine conclusion. Especially because at the ending, all of these characters really feel like they kind of end their arcs. They're living happier lives now. They're living the lives they really want to be living. They've wanted to be living. More peaceful lives, knowing they've done the right thing, stop the bad guys, and have no more wants and worries. It even starts this new relationship with this cop who is helping Hobbs the whole time, and it's a very nice kind of cap end to his arc to really like begin to forgive people and to really calm down in his life, and that's a very good ending for these characters, especially Dom. And that's probably the reason why Fast 5 probably should have been the ending when you think about it. However, due to the fact that I like Fast and Furious 6 and Furious 7, I guess it's fine that this didn't end up being the last one. However, if it was, it would have been a fine conclusion. Sure, Too Fast, Too Furious and Tokyo Drift are here and there, but the likability of these characters all coming together, it's a satisfying conclusion to the kind of at this point of the saga. Of course, it wasn't. Fast 6 does exist, and they set up for the possibility of it with the fact that Eva Mendes returns as Monica Fuentes working with the DEA, and she just gives Hobbs a thing which has a picture of Letty, setting up directly for the sequel that more or less was probably going to happen. This movie did fantastically, so why wouldn't it have? Justin Lin directing again, it has just as great of cinematography, though I feel probably better. Due to the fact that Fast and Furious had a little bit of this like brownish tint to it, it felt, which made sense due to the fact that they were where they were, very sandy areas. Here we're in Rio. Things are much more colorful, much more brighter, and though we're not in the brighter parts of Rio all of the time, it makes sense to have this movie have much better lighting and coloring than the previous one. Because this, it feels a little bit more natural and kind of works better for its setting. And because of this, I really like this movie more than Fast and Furious. That, and that the editing, it kind of calms down a little bit. It's still very quick cuts, it's very fast paced, but it at least tries to stay on the people's faces a little bit longer. And due to the fact that it has a little bit more of like actual on foot like fighting and shooting, it feels even more of like a regular traditional action movie than previous, and because of that, it really feels Justin Lin continues growing as a director and how he's able to shoot these different scenes. Like Fast and Furious, it has lots of CGI mixed with practical effects, and all of it looks really, really good. All of it mixed together incredibly well. You can barely tell a lot of the time. We've come quite a way since 2001. This being 2011, being 10 years after the original, it's really come a long way from how it looked in the first one and how it looks now. Despite the fact that it does feel a little bit different due to the fact that it has higher stakes and it's more of a heist movie than a racing movie. We don't even see how they got that other faster car from the race scene, and the one racing scene is more like a let's do this for fun sort of thing. It's definitely not the same kind of movie, but due to the fact that it comes after 4 other movies really upping the stakes each time and bringing all this stuff together, it feels like it naturally ups the stakes. Like it was meant to be this big epic conclusion, you know, because it was supposed to be. It can be said for the characters. As I said, all these characters coming together, just naturally bouncing off of each other, is really cool to see. I love how all these characters grow as people and they grow as a family, and it's all believable by the ending. It's a lot of cool action scenes mixed with a lot of fun little character scenes that bring all these characters from the previous ones feeling like they just didn't, like, age a day, you know? You could watch the first 5 in, like, release order, and you would be perfectly fine. More or less. This movie is very, very well written, and it's very entertaining the whole entire time, due to these great characters and really cool action scenes. Again, due to certain problems with Tej and the thing, and it just being very strange enough that you really have to suspend your disbelief from how crazy the action scenes get in this, and the fact that Hobbs' men didn't just immediately start shooting shit when, you know, the whole what you gonna do, this is Brazil scene happened. There's a couple parts of this that don't feel as realistic and grounded as the previous one, but I feel like that makes it better than previous. Maybe the last one could be a little bit more respectable in terms of its writing, and maybe it's more grounded, but I kind of want Fast and Furious to be fast and or furious, and this definitely feels more like that sort of thing. I would, however, give it the exact same rating, considering that, again, not that smart of a movie, but I would definitely say it's better than the previous, but more or less on the same level. It feels like a part 2, almost. These Fast and Furious and Fast 5 really feel like 2 parts of a whole, you know? It's kind of cool to see them together. In fact, I did watch them at the same time. Immediately went to Fast 5 after I watched Fast and Furious, which is the reason it was recorded on the same day, so that's weird. But that's just because they naturally just slide into each other, you know? It's clear that these were made with the same vision of let's really take the potential that was there and fulfill it and bring it, and Fast 5 continues that into its natural conclusion. This feels like it was meant to be the ending, and though it wasn't, if it was, it would have been a satisfying conclusion. If you're already into this series, Fast 5 is the next place to go, and it is a definite recommendation if you want some cool, crazy action, especially with, again, Dwayne "The Rock" fucking Johnson. Because of this movie, Dwayne Johnson would become a much bigger movie star. This was definitely his big break. It's not like he wasn't in movies during this time, but it was stuff like The Tooth Fairy. And thankfully he's moved away from movies like that to movies like this. Because of movies like this, he's now went on into every movie ever, and they also kind of range from quality here and there. Maybe eventually he'll be the president. So, stepping stones, might as well. But of course, we still have multiple movies to go. Though this is the midpoint of it, it's not quite the end. If you were doubting the realism and the physics of the action scenes of the previous movies, well then get ready for the next one, that being Fast and Furious 6, which kind of continues this weird thing that the names do, which is that they don't matter really anymore. But until then, I've been the Movie-a-thoner. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you're ready for all the other Fast and Furious fun times, well then get ready for that next one, and just subscribe and see what else I'll be doing in the future. Of course, there's, more importantly, let's talk about what you think about Fast 5. Do you think it's as cool as the movie has been saying? Or do you think it's even better? It's some kind of masterpiece? Or it's even worse than I've been saying? Well, then leave all that stuff in the comments. Most importantly, though, stay good, stay safe, don't be an asshole.